Imagine a music biopic where, for the first time, the heirs of Michael Jackson open the vaults. Every master track unlocked. Private archives exposed. The Jackson family's direct control means nothing is off limits, or entirely safe. Casting his own nephew as Michael raises the stakes even further. But with this much power, is true honesty even possible? Here's how this film could rewrite every rule, and why no other artist's legacy hangs in the balance quite like this. Securing the rights to Michael Jackson's music catalog is a process that usually stops most biopics before they ever begin. For this film, the legal gateway was the involvement of the Michael Jackson estate itself. Co-executives John Branca and John McClane didn't just approve the project. They became hands-on producers, signing contracts that opened the vault to more than 30 of Jackson's most iconic songs. This is the first time a biopic has been granted such sweeping access, covering master recordings from the Jackson 5 era through the height of Michael's solo career, including Thriller, Billie Jean, Beat It, Smooth Criminal, Bad, and Black or White. Negotiations for these rights are typically labyrinthine, involving publishers, record labels, and producers with veto power. In Michael Jackson's case, the estate holds the keys to both the publishing and the master recordings, thanks to years of legal maneuvering after Jackson's death in 2009. Sony Music, which struck a $250 million 7-year deal with the estate in 2018, manages distribution and licensing, but all final approvals for film use run through Branca and McClane. This means the film could use not just the finished tracks, but potentially unreleased studio sessions, rehearsal takes, and isolated vocal stems. The specifics of what is cleared remain confidential. The legal precedent for this level of access was set through years of litigation and settlement. In 2017, producer Quincy Jones sued the estate over royalties and control of posthumous uses of Thriller, Off the Wall, and Bad. The jury awarded Jones $9.4 million, but the final settlement, reached in 2021, confirmed that the estate retains the authority to license Jackson's masters directly for film. This outcome streamlined the clearance process for the biopic, removing one of the biggest obstacles that derailed previous projects. Unlike earlier music films, where estates or surviving band members limited catalog use, Queen capped Bohemian Rhapsody at 14 songs, and Elton John self-financed Rocket Man to avoid restrictions. The Jackson estate's deep involvement removes those barriers. The contracts for Michael allow for diegetic performances, meaning Jaafar Jackson can sing and dance to the actual masters on screen, and the film's score can weave in original stems for emotional impact. This creates a level of authenticity few biopics can match. Trade sources confirmed that the deal was finalized before principal photography began in January 2024, with the estate's legal team reviewing every script page mentioning a song or archival clip. Grammy Chief Executive Officer Harvey Mason Jr. was brought on as music executive producer in June 2024, ensuring that the integration of Jackson's catalog meets both creative and legal standards. The result is a film where the music rights aren't just a background feature, they are the foundation, shaping every scene and unlocking the possibility of a soundtrack and global theatrical event on a scale no previous biopic has matched. Hearing a Michael Jackson song in a movie is one thing. Hearing the real master recordings, every breath, every snap, every layer of Quincy Jones's production, hits in a way nothing else can. That's the sonic payoff at the heart of this film. Most music biopics settle for sound-alikes or thin covers, either because the rights are locked up or the estate keeps a tight grip on the vault. Even high-profile projects like Bohemian Rhapsody had to work within limits, capping Queen's catalog to just 14 songs. Elton John's Rocket Man only got full access because he financed it himself. The difference is immediate. A sound-alike can mimic a melody, but it cannot duplicate the texture of the original. The crackle of the snare on Billie Jean, the layered harmonies of Human Nature, the raw studio takes from the Jackson 5 era. These are details only the real masters can deliver. The Michael Jackson biopic is not just using the hits, it is built on them, with the estate's blessing to dig deep into the catalog. That means not just the polished versions everyone knows, but potentially unreleased takes, rehearsal vocals, and isolated stems that let a scene breathe with a single note or a whispered lyric. When Jaafar Jackson steps into the spotlight as Michael, the music is not a backdrop. It is a living presence, woven directly into the storytelling. The film's score can build around the original stems, letting the emotional weight of a moment land with the same force as a live performance. In a concert scene, the real master tracks can thunder through the theater, blurring the line between cinema and spectacle. This level of access does not just matter for fans, it is a game changer for the box office. Audiences know the difference, even if they cannot always put it into words. The emotional punch of the real thriller or Man in the Mirror, not a copy, not a tribute, has the power to turn a movie into an event. It is the same reason why the Bohemian Rhapsody Live Aid sequence brought audiences to their feet, the sound was authentic, and it made the moment feel historic. With more than 30 Michael Jackson tracks cleared and the estate's archives open for use, the film can deliver that feeling over and over. The specifics of the deal remain confidential, but the impact is clear. Every scene shaped by the original music becomes a chance to relive the moments that defined pop culture. The soundtrack potential is just as big. With the masters in play, a global theatrical release can become a multimedia event. Soundtrack albums, streaming tie-ins, and immersive formats like IMAX, where every beat lands as it was meant to. This is not just a story about Michael Jackson. It is a chance to experience his music the way it was meant to be heard, in full, with every detail intact, and with the emotional power that only the real thing can deliver. Jaafar Jackson did not just inherit Michael's cheekbones, he inherited the way Michael moved. In every rehearsal and every take, the challenge was not just to look the part, but to prove it in motion. The production's choreography team, including veterans who worked with Michael himself, spent months breaking down the signature moves, the moonwalk, the toe stand, and the anti-gravity lean. These are not just steps, they are a physical language, and every gesture had to be precise. Jaafar's preparation started long before cameras rolled. Family gatherings at Havenhurst became informal workshops, with siblings and cousins recalling how Michael practiced for hours, perfecting every glide and pop. Jaafar grew up watching those sessions, absorbing the details that never made it into the public eye. To validate Jaafar's performance, the team leaned into technical rigor. Choreographers and movement analysts used frame-by-frame video comparisons, matching Jaafar's rehearsal footage to classic performances from Motown 25, Smooth Criminal, and the Dangerous World Tour. High-speed cameras capable of capturing up to 240 frames per second recorded Jaafar's footwork and body angles. This allowed the team to overlay his movements with archival footage, checking for microsecond timing and anatomical accuracy. Every wrist flick and shoulder roll was scrutinized, not just by family, but by professionals who had spent decades studying Michael's style. The process was not about imitation, it was about translation. The team took a physical vocabulary that defined an era and made it live again. Jaafar's natural resemblance helped, but it was his muscle memory, honed through months of repetition, that convinced even the most skeptical observers. Choreographers noted that Jaafar's balance on the moonwalk, the way his heels hovered just above the floor, matched Michael's 1983 Motown 25 performance within fractions of a second. In side-by-side overlays, the similarities were uncanny. The production did not rely on digital trickery or body doubles. Every sequence was captured in camera, with Jaafar performing full routines in real time. The technical approach was not just for show, it set a new standard for biopic authenticity. While previous films relied on creative editing or stunt performers to fill in the gaps, this project made Jaafar's body language a matter of record. The choreography team documented each rehearsal, logging hours of footage to refine every detail. By the time principal photography wrapped in May 2024, Jaafar's performances had been measured, analyzed, and approved by people who knew Michael best, his family, his collaborators, and the experts who built his legacy. The result is a portrayal where movement is not just believable, it is verifiable. Every frame of the Michael Jackson biopic is shaped by a unique agreement. The family's direct approval is not just a privilege, it is a boundary. The estate's involvement opens doors to unreleased home videos, diaries, and rare rehearsal footage, and it also draws lines that the filmmakers cannot cross. This access brings material no other production has had, but it arrives with conditions. The review process is formal. Every script page that references private family moments, legal disputes, or controversial chapters faces scrutiny from a board led by co-executors John Branca and John McClane. The board holds the authority to approve, revise, or reject scenes, sometimes after heated internal debate. Public statements from the estate insist the film will not sanitize Michael's story, but the reality is more complicated. Certain topics, especially those involving Jackson's children, his marriages to Lisa Marie Presley and Debbie Rowe, or the details of the 1993 and 2005 legal cases, are handled with extreme caution. Insiders describe a process of negotiation where filmmakers present multiple versions of sensitive scenes, weighing dramatic honesty against the risk of reopening old wounds. There are no blanket bans, but there are quiet omissions. The Chandler family names are absent from the shooting script, a decision shaped less by legal threats than by the estate's desire to avoid fresh litigation or public backlash. Those names are simply absent from the pages the crew receives. The boundaries extend beyond the script. When a scene calls for archival footage, the estate vets the material for privacy concerns. Home videos showing minors are often redacted or blurred. Even scenes that dramatize famous moments, like the 1993 Neverland search, go through intense legal review. Production lawyers examine every prop and document for potential defamation or copyright risk. These layers of review slow the process, but they also protect the film from the kind of lawsuits that have haunted other high-profile biopics. The checks are bureaucratic, and they are defensive, intended to limit legal exposure and safeguard reputations. In that sense, they act as a kind of shield against costly litigation. Not every boundary is accepted quietly. In early 2024, Paris Jackson filed a budget critique, objecting to the casting of Miles Teller as John Branca and accusing the estate of mismanaging funds and prioritizing executive egos over family legacy. Her complaint, filed with the Los Angeles Superior Court, became public record and fueled speculation about behind-the-scenes disputes. The estate responded by reaffirming its commitment to Michael's story and by dismissing claims of chaos. The episode underscored the delicate balance between creative freedom and family control, and it made public how closely contested some decisions have become. For the filmmakers, these limits are both a shield and a constraint. The unprecedented access to Michael's catalog and archives comes with the understanding that some chapters will remain closed, or at least heavily filtered. Every major decision, what to show, what to omit, how to frame the most painful episodes, carries emotional weight, not just for the audience, but for the people who lived through it. The result is a film that promises authenticity within the boundaries of memory and legal reality, where the stakes are measured not only in box office numbers, but in the trust of a family still guarding its most personal truths. Director Antoine Fuqua brings a track record that few in Hollywood can match. With films like Training Day and The Equalizer, Fuqua has proven he can handle complex stories at blockbuster scale, blending kinetic energy with emotional depth. For Michael, he is joined by producer Graham King, the architect behind Bohemian Rhapsody, which grossed over $900 million worldwide and earned 4 Academy Awards. This is the same team that turned Queen's Story into a global phenomenon, now working with a budget rumored to top $150 million, an investment more common to superhero franchises than music biopics. The production itself has unfolded on a scale that rivals the most ambitious event films. Principal photography began in January 2024 and ran for 91 days, covering locations from a meticulously restored Havenhurst to full-scale recreations of Neverland Ranch and iconic tour stages. After initial filming wrapped in May, the crew regrouped for an additional 22 days of IMAX format shooting, a move rarely seen outside of tentpole action movies. This decision was not just about spectacle, it was about capturing the velocity and detail of Michael's performances in a way that regular films simply cannot. IMAX cameras tracked every moonwalk, each spin, and the sweep of stadium crowds, promising an experience that aims to immerse audiences rather than just document. The team behind Michael is built for large-scale storytelling. Cinematographer Robert Richardson, a 3-time Oscar winner, and production designer Barbara Ling, who recreated 1970s Los Angeles for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, bring a level of craft designed to match the gravity of Jackson's legacy. The production calendar includes multiple rounds of reshoots and post-production tweaks, a strategy borrowed from blockbuster filmmaking to ensure every detail is right. Lionsgate and Universal are treating the film as a global event, targeting IMAX screens and international rollouts, betting that the story of Michael Jackson deserves and demands the biggest stage Hollywood can offer. Box office history sets a daunting benchmark for any music biopic aiming for global impact. Bohemian Rhapsody pulled in $910 million worldwide, a sum that turned Queen's Story into a phenomenon. Rocket Man, with Elton John's full blessing and catalog, reached $195 million, impressive but a fraction of Queen's draw. For Michael, Lionsgate and Universal are projecting numbers that could top both, with internal forecasts aiming for $2 billion in theatrical receipts. That kind of ambition comes with risk. The production budget, rumored to be north of $150 million, rivals the scale of superhero franchises. Every dollar spent raises the stakes, especially when music rights, reshoots, and global marketing are factored in. Legal history around Michael Jackson's legacy adds another layer. The 2017 lawsuit by Quincy Jones against the estate put producer royalties and master use at the center of industry attention. Jones was awarded $9.4 million by a Los Angeles jury, but the confidential settlement in 2021 left the estate firmly in control of licensing Jackson's catalog for film. That outcome cleared a path for the biopic. High-profile collaborators can and do challenge how Jackson's music is used, and any misstep could trigger new litigation. The shadow of the 1993 civil settlement, which paid out over $20 million without an admission of guilt, remains a sensitive topic. While the terms do not explicitly bar dramatization, the legal and emotional risks are real, and the film's script has already avoided using certain names or details to sidestep potential backlash. Every decision, what to show and what to omit, carries commercial and legal weight. The tools are in place for a blockbuster, but the same access that promises authenticity also demands caution. The verdict on whether Michael can truly surpass its predecessors will depend not just on spectacle, but on how it navigates these invisible boundaries. Right now, the world stands ready to witness a story told with access and authenticity that no music biopic has ever achieved. With every new detail revealed, Michael Jackson's legacy becomes more contested and more magnetic. What's at stake isn't just one artist's truth, but how culture chooses to remember genius. The spotlight is on, and the world will be watching. Share your thoughts below.